Alright, welcome back guys. Another weekend here in this hot garage. Summer is here upon us in South Florida. So it's time to just get sweaty in this garage. Anyways, last video you saw us try to repair the ECU for Uncle Kevin, and I know a lot of you are trying to figure out did it work, did it not work. So before we go any further into this video, I'm just going to jump right into it because Uncle Kevin actually went home, did a quick video for us. So this is what happened.
Hey MR2 fans, this is Uncle Kevin with a continuation of Uncle Kevin and Ryan's 1994 MR2 Turbo, getting it back to its original glory. So let's see, let's first start out with these old worn out battery terminals. Let's replace them with some nice new ones. We're going to be using these little new terminals we purchased, and we'll start there. All right, terminals are on, and next is let's plug in our ECU, our second generation ECU that Ryan has repaired, and let's plug it in and see what happens. Okay, ECU is in. Let's install a freshly charged battery. See, we got 13.45 volts there. That should be plenty good. Fresh terminals on. Fully charged battery is in. Let's give it a shot. Unfortunately, it didn't seem to work. Let's plug the Gen 3 ECU in and see what happens. All right, Gen 3 ECU back in place.
Alright, so that was a bummer. It didn't work, so it's back at my house. And honestly, I tried to pull this thing up again. I started changing the rest of the capacitors, and then I just kind of realized it's not the capacitors. I think the board where you saw, if you were watching the previous video, the board where the capacitor leaked and kind of stained it, I think it damaged the board. So I don't know if it's going to work. The one last resort, I'm going to try to get some more capacitors because coincidentally, the kit I bought didn't have every single capacitor in this thing. So we're going to try that. I'm also going to try to source a new ECU. So this is for a 94. So there's the part number. If anybody has one for sale, or you want to give one for free, or whatever it is, just hit us up because Uncle Kevin needs to get his car going. All right, so the ECU is down. The car is down. We didn't solve the problem. And I wanted to come clean, I'll be honest with you, because a lot of stuff we do on this channel works. This didn't work, and we didn't want to fudge it and make it seem like it worked, okay? Replacing the capacitors like I did, that's how it's done. But whether it's that's the problem, then that's a whole other issue. So this didn't work, but today we're gonna go back on the 91. So again, if you watch it, you gotta watch this channel, you gotta follow the channel because it's a build-up, right? So we had the swaybar, we're getting some creaking sound from the front of the 91 MR2, and we had to get it repaired. Now the only way to get it repaired, I couldn't do it at home because I don't have a welder. I did think about buying a welder and having my friend Kevin, who is a professional welder, come over and do it for me. But honestly, I went to a shop and the cost to repair it was just, it wasn't worth investing in the welder at this point. So we had it welded. I didn't really get much videos at the shop, so I'll throw a little bit in here just kind of show you that I went to a shop. So we'll plug that in, and then let's move on to where we are right now. All right, Houston, we got a problem. It's kind of hard to see, but basically the right rear brake, I got a leak. Lighting is so bad. Right on the wrong. I'll show you guys when we get home. Get some proper light. So now I got the sway bar fixed, but now I have to get the rear brake fixed. Good old MR2 life, keeps you busy. And then I gotta replace this AC seal right here. I gotta replace this AC seal right here because I want to get this AC system charged up. So that's gonna be coming up in another video. How do we get this AC working again? Alright, MR2 guys, so here we go. We got the 91 up on the ramp. As you guys know, we had to get the subframe re-welded. So I brought it to a shop because I wanted to get it done properly, and that's the final result. It looks pretty good. Pretty solid too. So that's what's going on here. I have the original side. Not working. So yeah, and then I got it on the ramp. Sorry about the noise, it's in a shop. I got a leak from the transmission here, so my oil pan that I fixed is good. But it looks like my rear manifold is leaking. So again, that just only means it's time to swap this engine out. There's my oil pan, looking pretty good. So this is a rare opportunity to see what's under this car. So here we go. Very clean, no rust. So yeah, just another reason to say this was a good buy. No rust anywhere. And again, this engine, I'm not too worried about it because it's gonna go. We got the car home and it's in the garage. It's up on jack stands because we're gonna work on the front. So I actually went ahead and I got the sway bar painted. So I had some extra red paint. So I kind of did some red paint. Thought it would look kind of cool. I don't know if I like it, but it's gonna be under the car. Nobody's gonna see it anyways. So we have the sway bar painted. We have the area welded, which I'm gonna show some more detail on right now. But I don't wanna have this problem again. And you know, we just don't want this car to have this problem again, not me, right? So I bought this kit and I got this from Toys R Us, and essentially it's some reinforcement brackets. Now apparently this is for a 91. It has to be made, it's an early 91 model. That's what they advertise it for. Apparently for the 92 and 93 models, you would have to do some modifications to this. So this car is an early 91, so it should fit perfectly. I haven't tried it yet. But here are the braces, and essentially what this is going to do, it's going to take some of that load off the chassis of the car. So although it's welded, it's going to protect it from breaking in the future. And the other side that didn't break, it's going to help to prevent that one from breaking. So here they are. We're going to head onto the car. We're going to try to figure this out. We'll see what goes where. And it does come with some hardware as well. And I guess let's see if it has some instructions. So just show some pictures. So we'll figure this out, right? So essentially, I got this on Toys R Us. So if yours is not broken yet, I think I'd recommend that you go get one of these to avoid them from being broken. So you don't have to end up being in a shop welding your chassis and all of that good stuff. All right, so with that said, let's head on to the car and get this thing installed. Well, here we have it. So you saw it at the shop and they had painted it black. I didn't like how it looks in black because I wanted to kind of have that OEM finish. So I went ahead and painted it in the primer color. So this is basically the repaired area. So before, all of right here was just broken. So there's a big hole in the chassis. So this is where the sway bar is going to go back. That is the other side over there. And this is the belly of the car. So we're going to go ahead and throw the sway bar in. Everything should bolt up very nicely, and we'll put a new bracket in, and then we're back on the road again. All right, guys, so it's always hard to film when you're under a car. So basically, this is how the bracket goes on. It goes, there's a bar right here, and it bolts right. You remove that bolt, put the bracket here, and then it goes where the swing, the U-joint, I guess, for the sway bar would mount. Sorry, my hand is blocking right here. If you look at this side, this is the side that we repaired. Here, this is kind of like what it looks like. So we're going to put the sway bar on. But if you notice, I cut a notch right here because the side that was not damaged lined up perfectly, but this side did not. It was off by a few millimeters. Now I do think this car had a little accident, so this was tweaked a little bit, and then the fact that it welded right there probably wasn't perfect alignment. So, you know, we do have the bolts, they're going in nice and smooth. This is all tightened up right now, so it's just a matter of putting on the sway bar. So I'm just gonna cross my fingers that once the sway bar goes on, it doesn't create any driving issues, but this is what we gotta work with right now. So I had to notch that piece in just to make this work, like I said, because it wasn't perfectly aligned, but we're moving along. So let's just get the sway bar on, put this car on the ground, and we'll be done. Well, I'm on the last stage here, so I got the brackets on. As you guys saw, I put the new bolts in here. Now, comes with 2 bolts, 2 new hardware. They're the same length, and honestly, the factory system has a longer bolt on the front, a smaller bolt on the back. Because if you don't put a smaller bolt on the back, it bolts up into the chassis. So these bolts, I found them too long, so I had to put 2 washers on it. So a little bit of hiccup, but we were able to figure it out. So right now I'm going to torque this, and on the 91s, this is torqued to 14 foot-pounds, so that's what we're going to torque this to. I know for the 93s it's a little bit more, but for 91, I guess because this part of the chassis is so soft, it only goes to 14 foot-pounds. So that's what we're going to do, and then we're going to call it a day and put the plastics back on, wheels on, and this should last. So, you know, again, you know, I highly recommend something like this because obviously, you know, had I known before, well, it was broken when I got the car, but I didn't realize that it was such a huge problem. So if I have a 91 and it's not broken, I'd definitely invest in one of these things. So, yep, hope you guys learned something new today. We're going to get these wheels on and get her back on the road, and that will be it for today. So anyways, let's keep going. Alright guys, I hope you like this video. It's very simple one. We were just basically reinforcing the sway bar. So something that every MR2 needs to get done. So again, these videos helps everyone in the MR2 community know what to expect, especially if you're new to these cars. What are the do's, what are the don'ts, and what type of modifications you need to do to keep them on the road safe and, you know, going strong. So I'm gonna throw this wheel on, bring it down on the floor, and that's gonna be a wrap for today. So next video, we got some exciting stuff coming, so stay tuned. You'll like it when you see it. Have a good one.